Hi, I'm Chantra Powell, and I'm the Proven Not Perfect podcast host and a best-selling author on Amazon. Do any of these words call out to you? Drive, ambition, doing, leading, creating. These words call many of us, and sometimes to heroic impact. This is all good until we forget about our own self and our own self needs, mainly care. My Village of All-Stars, they not only command position, but they command influence. Well, there's always a backstory. I'm myself, Chantra Powell. I've had to put myself on the sideline a few times, but I'm still in the game. I'm staying in the game. The only thing different about me is that I'm proven not perfect. Enjoy.
Denise.
Chandra!
No stranger to Proven Not Perfect. None. In fact, we had you for an impromptu. It was supposed to be a personal catch-up, and it turned into a whole podcast that we shared with the world. But this time, there's a bit more intentionality. There is something on my mind, and I was thinking about this, and I was like, I want to have this conversation, but I also want to be intentional with who I choose to have it with. And you're one of those leaders who brings such intentionality to the spaces and places that you inhabit that I thought that you'd be perfect for this discussion with us, okay?
Wow. Thank you. I received that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm trying to figure out because, I'm looking at you here.
Yeah.
And then so I'm going to try to get
right in here. Right in here.
I'm right here. I'm looking at you. No, I'm not.
Thanks to Zoom and all of the new features.
Yes.
Thanks to Zoom. Zoom now is
we love innovation.
You can pay us later. We'll appreciate
right.
it. We'll check all the sponsorship for sure. So here is the question on my mind. Now that we are officially in the fourth quarter of the calendar year.
It's crazy.
And for a lot of us, we scurried from summer right on into fall.
Mm-hmm.
And now we open our eyes and it's October. Everyone's inevitably looking back and thinking what was on their list that they didn't accomplish. And they're thinking what's still on their list yet to do for the end of the year. I don't know how many people are really bringing intentionality to the setup for 2026 and beyond. But let's just focus on the next year for now, right? And so I thought, let me tap into your wisdom and ask you, now that you're entering the fourth quarter of the year, what's top of mind for you as you do a look back on the year that we're in and you start to look forward to the future?
Well, the first word that comes to my mind is rapid.
Oh,
this year, and we say that every year, it's like, man, this year just flew by.
Yeah.
And I'm just starting to accept the fact that the older and wiser we are becoming,
yes.
And when I say we, for those that are 40 and over,
yes,
I feel like ever since I became part of the 40s club,
yes,
which this, by the way, Chantra, is my last year. So next year, I'm a bicentennial baby. So I'll be celebrating my 50th with the country's 250th.
Wow.
And so I just believe that as I'm wrapping up the 40s, going back to your question, there's so much, whether it's networks,
yes.
whether it's philanthropy, whether it's family, everything that I believe it's that everything that we do, combined with the rapid rate of technology.
Yeah.
I strongly believe, Chantra, that that's one of the reasons why we feel as though the year flies by. And yet, to your point, when we reflect and think, what did I get accomplished this year? Because think about it. What used to be where, okay, I'm leaving the office.
Yes.
And I'm leaving work.
Mm-hmm.
That's no longer the case.
That's right.
Accessibility combined with the rapid rate of technology is where I think we really need to focus in on intentionality.
Mm.
And the reason why I say that is because
Yeah,
sometimes I have to take a step back. Literally, I won't even be dishonest and say every now and again or sometimes. Every day is part of my reflection process.
yes.
I'm not asking how much I accomplished today. I'm asking how many withdrawals did I allow and how many deposits did I receive?
Oh.
That is the question I ask myself every day.
How
Because
many
if I could,
withdrawals?
yep,
How many deposits? So
exactly.
unpack that a little bit for this new language for a lot of people.
When your account is overdrawn,
Mm-hmm.
there's a variety of emotions. And listen, you know, because I know your audience
Mm-hmm.
is of high caliber. I get it.
Yeah.
But there's not too many folks in this thing called life that can say, I've never had an overdrawn account. We've all been there, during our formative years. And when you think about what that felt like, whether it was humiliation, frustration, anxiety, there's so many emotions that are associated with having an account overdrawn.
Yes.
And the simple formula, Chantra, is I had this much money in my account,
Yes.
but yet I was allowing all these withdrawals to come in and there wasn't sufficient funds. It's the same principle with us as people.
Mm-hmm.
We allow people to make withdrawals, but yet we're not making enough deposits. And then we literally feel overdrawn. That's burnout.
Yes.
And
Well,
so that's why it's important for me every day to say, okay, is my account full? Do I have sufficient funds in my account?
how do you course correct?
Ooh,
So I think everything you're saying is spot on, but what are some of your strategies to sort of course correct when you feel like, you know what? I'm looking at the deposits, I'm looking at the withdrawals, and I'm out of balance. Um, Especially when you look at your calendar and it still has all of those commitments that you made when you were in balance, right? And so I think, especially as we start to ratchet up on this back half of the year, folks do typically start to see lots of withdrawals, right? It's the one more event, it's the one more meeting, making space for the one more trip. Not a whole lot of space to deposit anything that hasn't been in there already. So I guess what I'd love to unpack with you are, as folks start to end this year, are there maybe 2 or 3 things that you would just kind of put out there that you do yourself that might be very useful tools for folks who don't have a practice or maybe have one but feel like they can fine tune it?
Great question. I'm so glad you asked that question. It's the same principle. So when we do realize that our accounts, our bank accounts, are having way more withdrawals than deposits,
Yeah.
the first thing we do is we'll analyze. We'll say, okay, let me look at all these subscriptions that are automatically withdrawn out of my account. Let me look at all these automatic payments. Let me assess what actually is necessary and or bringing me value versus something that I'm just paying for and I'm not even utilizing. That's the same principle, Chantra, that you should apply with people.
Wow.
And it hurts. I mean, because even when I say it and your response was, wow, that's how I felt too.
Yeah.
However, the more and more that I apply that principle, and this is daily.
Yeah.
Like data analysts, people that are listening to this and watching this, there are some people who are very data driven.
Yes.
They're analytical. Okay. I don't need the fluff. I want the data. I don't want feelings. I want facts. I so appreciate that because that's the same type of methodology that you should apply when it comes to assessing who, what, and where are taking way more withdrawals than deposits in my life. And it's going to sting because at first, you might say, wow, every time this person has access to me, whether it's a text, a phone call, an in-person meeting, even, this person who I work with, they do a lot more taking out of me than they do giving.
Mm.
That's a flag. And I will say this, since I started applying that method, I've gained what all of us, when we assess what's causing burnout, I've gained more time.
Mm.
I've gained more clarity. And here's the big one. I've gained more prosperity. Prosperity has nothing to do with money.
Yes.
Prosperity has nothing to do with how many cars are in your garage or, how many homes you invest in. Prosperity is one thing and one thing only. That is peace.
Woo.
That's it.
Priceless.
When you say,
Priceless.
I want you to have a prosperous life, or I am striving to be prosperous, you are striving or praying for or asking for peace, which is, there's nothing, Chantra, that I could think of
No.
that is more valuable than peace.
Totally agree with you.
That's what God is.
Yes. Absolutely. And when the presence of peace isn't there. So I think that's an excellent rubric, though. So, one of the things that you're really just nailing is, as you take your own personal inventory and you start moving toward the back half of this year, it's not too soon to start saying, where's the dead weight in my life, right? And that dead weight can be overcommitments, right? I found just yesterday that I made a new commitment on top of a commitment that I already had. Now I have to reconcile which of the commitments is going to beat the other one, right? Which is not a good place to be, right? But, we all find ourselves there. It's now, what do you do? How do you rationalize the fact that you have to, and you can only do one, right? Mm-hmm. It's a very real thing, and it's going to continue to creep up, because I think with all these portals of entry that you launched us with, all the portals of entry it's not stopping. They're not slowing. They are there. They're getting faster. So now it's figuring out how you get efficient on top of all the portals of entry for all the events and places and spaces you need to be. It's a whole lot.
Listen, that just happened to me, Chantra. And this is where it's a simple formula for me.
Yeah.
When you're in the position of who gets my time and who doesn't, now that I've realized I've overbooked or I've double booked, impact.
Yes.
That's always my anchor, is based on this decision.
Mm-hmm.
Who or what is going to have the most impact?
On you or you on it?
Me on them. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Even though you have to answer my question for
impact.
Which I was going to pick. Because
here's the thing.
It's going to impact me, but the other one, I believe I will impact. It's a smaller community of folks who are, quite frankly, seeking light. The other one is a larger community of folks who all are exuding the light, or at least, and so my greater self was like, hang on. Which place really should you choose to be?
Whichever place you are going to have the most impact on them.
Amen.
Do not focus on quantity, focus on the quality. So, for example, I could be invited, and now this is just an example. I don't want any of our clients who may be listening to be like, is she
talking about me? I don't want people trying to reconcile who I just deciphered between, right? That could be two of my friends in Japan and Australia. So just don't even try.
Stay focused, y'all. I break this down just really quick. You could have an invitation by a notable, distinguished leader of the world.
Yes.
And their team reaches out to your team and says, I would love to have dinner with Chantra and learn more about her services, her journey, her leadership. And you're thinking, you had me at hello, because this person again. And then you accidentally or inadvertently book let's say a keynote
Mm-hmm.
or a nonprofit organization,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and they're going to give you maybe whatever they can give you in terms of stipend, honorary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where, the brain is going to say, go with the notable leader. I mean, man. And then the heart and the gut probably is going to say, based on impact, I need to go and do my work with this nonprofit. That's just an example. But ultimately, it's always chess. It's never checkers.
Yes.
And the chess component where you get to say checkmate is where whatever decision that you make, Sandra, when you reflect on that decision, where did I make the most impact? Oh, and it's going to happen to the best of us. And that's where we also, in addition to assessing the impact, please, 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 even if they don't, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
And how you do that, Chandra, because I know a lot of people are going to say, well, how do you do that? You remind yourself that you're a good person.
Yes.
Do you feel what I'm saying? Like, you have to know that good people make mistakes.
Yeah. And
but it doesn't.
There's grace there for it, right?
You got to.
I had a conversation recently with a friend, and it came up this: if you are guided by strong values, core values, principal beliefs, that there is a wisdom and a discernment and a spirit that goes with your best decisions at a point in time, given the information that you have. The reality is, even if it ends up looking like, man, why did I decide to do that? You're probably exactly where you were supposed to be.
I love that.
And wait, but here's when it blew my mind when we unpacked this. Whatever your core values and beliefs are, that spirit guide in your heart knew where you were going to go anyway.
Ooh.
So the grace was already there.
Ooh.
So even though you're finding it out, you're like, wow, why did I decide this? There were lessons to be learned. To my sister Denise's point, there was impact to be made, even in what perceptibly looked like your bad decision.
I love this.
Yeah.
And I love the way
it releases us, right? Because
we have to.
Yeah.
That's our superpower. That's one of our superpowers, is the grace, the understanding, and the self-activation of it. Because, and here's what you have to be okay with. Either party's initial reaction to you saying, hey, here's what happened. I accidentally, double booked.
Yes.
You mean the world to me. I have to make this decision. It was difficult. And please be okay with, they're going to be upset. We're human. That's a natural, but understand that will pass.
It will pass.
Because I know there's been times where someone may have or communicated a decision that they were making that I wasn't happy with. And my initial reaction was frustration, disappointment, all these, negative emotions. But after I slept on it, I woke up, I was okay. And then I reached out to that person again and said, you know what? I initially was disappointed, or initially felt blank. But after some reflection and getting a good night's sleep, I just want you to know I understand and I appreciate your openness and sharing that with me. So again, you have to just be okay with, which, Chandra, this is a great segue into this point that the Spirit is telling me to share too. It's like people can't be disappointed or frustrated anymore without the other person saying, you're attacking me. And I think as humans, we have to get,
yes,
we have to get back to,
you need to take it down. Like, I honestly, everybody do a collective inhale, exhale. Can we just do that now, even in the places and wherever you are right now?
Let's do it.
I think 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Exhale. Oh,
That felt so good.
for
That felt so
somebody, that
good.
was the first time they maybe have done that all day.
And
Because
it feels so good.
that's how we're living right now. But
Yeah, it's like, we got to be perfect. And I'm like, no, I'm human. The way that the Most High designed me, I have an array of emotions.
yes.
And some days, the thing about it, Chantra, for you and for many of us that are in this room right now that are listening and watching this incredible podcast, we put so much pressure on ourselves to please everybody and make people happy and make ourselves look so perfect on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets to the point where you've done all that, but then when you finally have a situation where you need to be frustrated or upset or disappointed, everyone's like,
The nerve. I thought she was Miss Happy Cloud.
you see what I'm saying? And it's like, so going back to the original question, I'm more comfortable now reminding people that as much, because a lot of people, when they use one word to describe me, and that was intentional, is energy. And I appreciate that because I know that my energy is a superpower that positively impacts, that word again, so many people. And I appreciate the Most High trusting me and blessing me with that gift. With that being said, sister, there are days where I'm different.
Yes.
I'll say this quick story. And the person that said it may be watching this and they didn't understand the impact, but that's okay.
Yeah.
This person said to me, yeah, Denise, few people, side note, stay away from folks who say, folks are saying this about you. But that's a whole nother episode.
Whole nother episode. Look, I love the trilogy we're building.
Right. This person said, Denise, there are some folks that say you're different when you're not on the stage. You're different from when you're off the stage. You're so nice and high energy when you're on the stage, but when you get off the stage, you're different. I'm like, yeah, it's called persona.
Yes.
This incredible woman right here, I don't know if you can see her. She is my shero. One of them, Tina Turner.
Yes.
And let me show you how God works. Because when that person said it to me, Chantra, what do you think my immediate reaction was?
Well, I mean, you're human. So immediately you're sort of like, really?
I'm like, really? I got to fix this. I got to be, high energy all the time. Let me show you how God works. I study the best every night before I go to bed. Because if you want to be the best, you got to study the best. Okay. Shout out to Whitney Houston, who taught me that, not personally. And there was a video that came in on my social media feed, and it was literally Tina Turner during an interview.
Wow.
And she was sharing with the interviewer that I'm not Tina Turner once I get off that stage. And she didn't say she was Anime Bullock, but she did say, I'm not what you see. And Chantra, the immediate release that gave me, that freedom, that permission to know that people who are anointed and have gifts to where they can entertain people through their words or through their presence, that can be exhausting.
Girl, you need to replenish.
Which goes back, see how that works? Now we're back to the withdrawals and the deposits.
Yes.
Because when I'm on stage, when you're on stage, we are focused on making sure that our audience is getting exactly what they deserve, and that is the best.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Beyonce doesn't say too much? Now I get it. I'm like, because I remember when she first started, really starting to elevate as this global icon. One of the very inconsiderate judgments I made on Beyonce was she doesn't know how to communicate. She doesn't know how to speak. She doesn't really talk that much. To me, she's socially awkward. But remember what we said in the beginning, Chantra. The older you become, the wiser, not just based on books, but just experiences. So now I totally get why Beyonce doesn't say diddly squat.
That's right.
All that she has given the world, she's given us, that she gives on stage. I've seen Beyonce in concert. Let me tell you right now.
Yes.
I mean, she's human, but she's not.
She's otherworldly.
That is one of the most anointed. And so you have to, number one, assess the impact in everything that you do.
Yeah.
Number two, make sure that as much as you are allowing people, places, and things to withdraw from you, because many of us, we make it look so easy.
Yes.
And the more that you
and
give,
it is easy if it's your lane. And I think that's a truth too.
yes,
Right? Because
yes,
we should seek the things that are easy. It should be easy.
yes. Especially the older we become.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so with that, I'm okay with knowing that when I get off that stage and I've given my best, which I always do.
Yes.
I'm undefeated when it comes to giving my best and being mediocre. I'm undefeated.
Yes.
My record is like 582-0.
Go ahead.
And that's intentional.
Go ahead.
I have to also be okay with, yes, it's important for me to connect with people as much as I love to be connected to. However, with that being said, it's also important for me to know when to say, I'm overdrawn. I need more deposits.
So if you hear nothing else, as you approach the back half of this year and start visioning what the next part of the year looks like, anybody listening to us,
Mm-hmm.
understand your own personal inventory.
That's it.
Be clear about what it is today and about what you're gearing up for in the future. Now, I want to pivot because I know that you're gearing up for the future and you're gearing up for something very special. So I would imagine, yes, as we're closing out 2025, there's intentionality that you're bringing to what's depositing and how many deposits you're making space for, so that you have a whole lot of energy to walk into 2026, ready to probably tip a little bit on withdrawals, right?
Yes.
Tell me what I'm talking about. What am I talking about?
So this year, as we're closing and to your point, launching into 2026, I could not even believe I'm saying this, but I am so excited, thankful, grateful to announce right here.
Yes.
On the Future is Bright podcast.
Yes.
Hosted, curated, produced by the Chantra Power. My highly anticipated debut book.
Yes.
The only one in the room.
Yes.
So excited. You know, it's kind of like, it hasn't hit me yet. I know, right? It hasn't hit me yet. And I need to make space and time to just be with the book. But again, the book is titled The Only One in the Room.
So tell us about that. Tell us what can we expect? What give us a little bit of a snack here. The Only One in the Room. What was the inspiration? Fiction, nonfiction? Give us a little bit more.
Yeah. No, this all great questions. So in terms of, it's kind of like the same way that I got into entrepreneurship. There was one point where I was like, I'm never going to work for me. I'm never going to be an entrepreneur. I need guaranteed. I need security. I need a stable income.
Yeah.
And then it's funny how that saying says, when you plan something, that's the best way to make God laugh.
Yes.
So obviously, God had other things in store for me as part of his plan.
And
so fast forward. I'm sorry?
And you were listening.
And I was lit. Thank you for calling that out, because there's a lot of times we pray for things and then we don't listen. So then fast forward about 2 years ago, I was a guest keynote speaker at a conference. And there were two guest keynote speakers. So I kicked off the morning, and then there was another keynote that kicked off the afternoon by the name of Stephen Covey of Franklin Covey.
Come on now.
New York Times bestseller,
Wow.
Fire. Mr. Covey, now mind you,
Now wait. We all got to walk with you on this journey. So let's understand this. You were just doing what you do, where you said winning 580 to none, right? Showing up with excellence over mediocrity, winning every time. So you showed up to that, whatever 100th experience that was, happened to be placed in a scenario where you were in a space with someone that could perhaps pour seed and change the course and trajectory of your life.
Thank you for saying that, Chandra. Listen.
I just got
as a communication coach, I could not have said it better. Thank you for saying that, because your listeners, your audience, they needed that.
Yes.
Because to your point, I knew that Stephen Covey was going to be the keynote speaker in the afternoon. I knew who he was.
Yes.
I've worked for companies that use the Franklin Covey leadership model as one of their key components of developing high potential employees. So I knew all of that. I was actually a little starstruck. I was sharing the stage the same stage, I should say, with Stephen Covey. I'm like, so of course, when the afternoon comes and I'm like, listen, I'm gonna be in the audience. Can I stay? And the client was like, of course. Afterwards, I remember it like it was yesterday, Chandra. I'm placing my items in my bag and I'm getting ready to head to the airport. Mr. Covey walks up to me.
Wow.
He says, I heard you speak this morning. And he simply said, you are amazing. Naturally, I'm like, oh my goodness, thank you. That means so much to me coming from you. Like, thank you. Then he proceeds to say, there's a book in you. No, I take that back. I'm sorry. He says, how many books have you written? I said, 0. He said, there's a book in you. He said, I tell you what, if I connect you with some good people that can help you write your first book, as long as you complete it, I'll write the foreword to your first book. I was like,
done.
Look, you should have led with that. Thus, we have the only one, and I'm looking at my screen so I make sure I read this correctly. The only one in the room, how to transform differences into strengths, communicate with impact, and lead with confidence. Foreword by Stephen M.R. Covey.
Wow.
I'm trying to see if I can maybe see this. So yeah, there's the book. That's the book cover.
Gosh. Look at there. There's the beauty.
There's the beauty. There she is right there. And so she's coming out October 11th. Today is October 2nd. And Chandra, you already know you're going to receive a copy. I would be honored for you to read it.
Oh my God.
Your brain is brilliant. So I just definitely want folks like you to read the book, but it's for everyone.
Yes.
This book is so important to your earlier question in terms of timeliness, because there's never been a time, at least once, where regardless of your role, regardless of your level, regardless of your physical appearance, that at one point you've asked yourself, do I belong here? There's not one person.
Everybody has.
Everybody has experienced a moment.
Yes.
Which could have been detrimental, yes, or could have been the launch.
That's right.
Of, do I belong in this room? Do I belong here? So this book is literally for anyone who has ever asked that question. And the relevance as it relates to current day, there's a lot of us that are, even from the pandemic, so 2020 through current day, 2025, 5 years later, who have really been focusing on, who am I?
Yeah.
Am I located where I'm supposed to be located? Am I working where I'm supposed to be working?
Yeah.
Am I doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing? Am I living the way that I'm supposed to be living? And that has everything to do with how you're engaging every day. And so this book is really going to help people develop their voice,
Wow.
refine their existing voice, elevate their brand, and really learn how to communicate in a way that is valuable, that is relevant, that is motivating. Because we all need that.
Every one of us.
Everybody.
And there's no you've mastered it unless you've mastered it. And very few have, right? And I think in particular right now, as there's so much noise, right? I think the ability to control not only the placement of your voice, the intonation of your voice, the softness.
Yes.
All of it, right? I'm excited. I cannot wait to read this book.
And it's engaging. Just so you know, this is, to answer your question, how this book differentiates from other books is it's a hybrid.
Yeah.
So all of this is based on personal and professional experiences, which I get into a lot of detail. I'm very candid. And most people that know me know I'm very candid.
Yes.
Like you can't, one thing no one can say about Denise is that I don't know how she feels. I don't know what her body. Yes, you do.
You do.
And so, yes, this book is the same reflection of that part of me because you deserve that.
Wow.
And then secondly, it's very engaging. This is going to be like one of those books where you have the highlights, the little bookmarker post-it notes.
Yes.
This is going to be a blueprint because as much as I provide insight, wisdom, tools, it's going to inspire you to do the same. And we have intentional places. So the team that I work with, we have intentional places in the book where you'll be able to write your thoughts. A lot of truth bombs, a lot of interactive exercises, a lot of accountability in the book, a lot of reminders on how amazing you are, even when you are the only one in the room. And remember, Chantra, being the only one in the room isn't always about physical appearance.
That's right. Absolutely right.
You could be someone who's been described as introverted.
That's right.
And what I'm reminding you is that, you know, there's power in being quiet. It's just your responsibility to educate people on the power of being a processor, of being an observer.
Yes, yes.
I don't always need to be the loudest one in the room to be the most, and this goes back to our word, impactful.
Wow.
This is great.
So
it's a great book.
So tell me, as you think about 2026 and walking into this new place with the book, you know, what excites you and what sort of pings at your heart a little bit? Like, ooh, you know what I mean?
You know what excites me, Chantra? And again, thank you so much for these just responsible questions. That there's still more good in this world than evil. 2025 celebrated a lot of evil people, evil places, evil things. And that's hard for a lot of people to digest.
Yeah.
And what we have to remind ourselves is that there's still more good, than not. Taking that into 2026, obviously I'm going to be focused on promoting this book.
Yeah.
We're going to have virtual book launches, book club parties. And when I say we, Mr. Covey and I, he's going to join me.
Come on. Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of DT and Mr. Covey promoting this book. And I just want people to understand that whether you're the only one in the room based on physical appearance, based on work style, personality, persona, whatever, is that you have a valuable voice that deserves to be heard. And the number one thing, Chantra, that people literally the number one thing out of every area of communication that people will ask me to coach them on or even reintroduce is confidence.
Yeah.
This book, it's going to remind you that you don't need to be taught how to be confident. You just got to get rid of all that noise, get those layers out of the way, because the confidence is here. And that's what this book is going to help you do. You're going to literally hear my voice when you're reading this book. Because, when I was writing
the energy is going to come through.
It's going to come through.
I already know it. Haven't read a page, but I just think that that's the light that you bear, right?
Thank you.
Quite frankly, to God be the glory, that's what Mr. Covey saw, right? And I just think, it's time to illuminate that light, to share it, and to help turn on some lights where they may have gotten a little dim, right? This is a season where I do feel a momentum and a movement around turning on lights, being confident, being bold, being considerate, being kind, holding space when people maybe don't have the strength to hold it for themselves.
Yes.
Folks that are willing to do that. And any strike of a match opportunities to do that right now, I think are blessed. And that's what I think the only one is going to be, one of those strike of the match. And, to Mr. Covey, I just say, I'm calling Mr. Covey until, I get to know Steve, right? But I'll say to him now, look, thank you for modeling the behavior that we should all model, right? Because it's very easy to get to a place of, okay, great, I've done that. And then sort of be comfortable there. I don't believe that that's why God shines our light. I don't believe that's why the gifts are deposited. They are, I believe, to understand them responsibly, and start to seed others and not make clones, because we're not clones, right?
No need to be, yeah.
There's no need to be a clone. When I water that fertile soil on somebody else, there's an expectation that what sprouts is not going to be mini Chandra or mini Denise or mini Mr. Covey, right? It's going to be DT in the way that only DT can be. And man, I just think the brilliance.
So I got to say this.
Yes.
Pardon me for a second, Chandra. I'm going to talk to your audience. Let me tell y'all how incredibly gifted this woman is. We have not had a very detailed conversation about this book, but going back about 60 seconds, Chandra brought up the word light and associate that with my book. Like, this book is going to be a light. Now, let me just say this to, again, all of Chandra's viewers and listeners. Let me tell you how brilliant I know she is. She had no clue that the reason, and I'm going to see if I can share it again. When we were designing, and shout out to Mel Wise, who designed the book cover. You see how the word one is highlighted in yellow?
Yes.
Guess what word we used when we decided to highlight that in yellow? We said, we want this to be the light. We want people, when they see the word one, they see that as a light. And you just said it. That's why I almost fell out my chair when you were speaking. I was like, so I'm sorry, carry on, Chandra. I promise.
Wow.
I promise.
Wow.
That was the whole intention of highlighting the word one in the title. If you notice, that's the only word.
Only word, yeah.
And that is to represent that this, there we go, is the light. You are the light. You are the one. Even if you're the only one, you are the light.
Wow.
And you got it.
Uniquely.
Dr. Powell. Chandra Powell.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I just think that when something makes sense, it just makes sense. And, it starts to resonate in the way that it was intended to. So to me, it just affirms that what you're releasing into the world really, really is on the precipice of something that's not even going to be impactful for today. It's going to be impactful for many, many years as we sort of continue to shift through dynamic changes, learn new things together as human beings right now who are all figuring out new ways of being at the same time. shifts in everything we've come to know, even economically, right? Where markets behave different fundamentally because they're different instruments for markets to navigate, right? So, I think never has there been a more dynamic time with so many shifts at once. The responsibility is so great. And I couldn't be more excited to be a part of the DT Club as we go into 2026 and experience this great celebration of this work that you've birthed. Thank you, really.
Seriously, that means, sis. And I just love you so much because you talk about light. You should be very well acquainted with light because your light exudes way more than you could ever imagine, Chantra. You are a force, you are a light. And the fact that you have curated this space to have, because right now podcasts are everywhere. It was funny because I keep getting this pressure. Denise, when you have a podcast, I'm like, it's so, for me, I was like, it's so saturated.
Yes.
But what you've been able to do is create a space to where people who traditionally don't feel comfortable saying certain things, especially right now, you give us that comfort, and we so need it. And I just want to say this because I know we're about to wrap up. I just want to say this. I was driving last week and a song came on that I hadn't heard in a long time. Do you remember the song "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel?
Yes.
We start the fire. So I'm listening to the lyrics and I thought, man, this song came out, if I had to guess, late 80s, early 90s.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's still relevant
today.
Mm-hmm. Think about "What's Going On" by Marvin Gaye. That song came out in the late 60s, early 70s. So my point is saying this is, for a lot of us, we're saying things like, oh man, this was a heck of a year. Or what's going on? Or who's to blame? These artists that wrote these songs, it's reminding us that whether it was the 60s, the 80s or 90s or current state, there's always going to be something.
Yes, always.
To where the incoming generation is saying, and then the outgoing generation is like,
that's right.
So we can't keep telling ourselves that, man, the world is just a bad place right now. It never used to be like this. Yes, it has. Yes, it was.
Yes, it has.
Guess what?
Yes.
We're still here.
And we're still here.
We're still here. We made it. And we're going to continue to make it.
That's right.
We may have not started the fire. We may want to ask ourselves what's going on. But with incredible humans like you, Chantra.
And you, DT. Come on now.
I'll receive that.
Yes.
In the words of the great Kendrick Lamar, we're going to be all right.
We're going to be all right. Look, I think that is as good a mic drop as any. Look, I can't wait for all the launch parties. Boom, boom, boom. There's so much more to come. But look, if you heard nothing else, go into this last quarter of the calendar year with intention. Let you happen to it. Don't let it happen to you. Really think about your withdrawals and your deposits. And now is the time to start building the vision for what 2026 looks like for you. What are you launching into this world? What are you celebrating through? What is it, right? Answer those few questions for yourself. All right, DT, we'll see you soon. Later, babe.
Love you, sis. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.